Greetings, Batavia Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on Friday, June 24th, 2022. And I think that if I focus in on the community, there's a couple things I definitely want to highlight. First and foremost is that things are coming together nicely, appears to be, for the 4th of July fireworks program, which will be on the evening of July the 4th out at Engstrom Park or Batavia High School or wherever the parking lots along Randall Road, wherever you go, because it's all in the sky display, so you can be as far away as probably you want to be and watch it. At the end of the show, the Batavia Police Department jokingly reports to me that it is the largest traffic jam that we have in town on a yearly basis, is when that show is over with at 10 o'clock or at 9:30 or 10 o'clock on the 4th of July. So just be mindful of that, and know that once you go and enjoy the show, it may take you a few extra minutes to get home, because the City Council this week just asked for a special permit from the Illinois Department of Transportation so that we could shut down Batavia Avenue during that time period and rush a bunch of cars across town on the Wilson Street Bridge and off of Main Street and whatever. So we've got plans in the line to do that, but it is probably going to be a little bit cumbersome to do it. The other thing I'd like to talk about is today is the last day to early vote in the downtown at the City Hall and the council chambers. I will tell you my observation is that we haven't had a big crowd of early voters. There's been, I wouldn't even describe it as a steady stream, but we have had people come in and early vote. But unlike 2 years ago when we were having the presidential election, we had lines going out the building and going down Island Avenue. And of course, most folks that were standing there would come in and say, well, I only came to vote for one thing, and that was the presidential election. So we don't have that. This is the off-year election, so we don't have that. But now, if you didn't early vote as of this afternoon, you can certainly find your polling place that you normally go. That'll be open next Tuesday on the 28th, and that will be the date when the primary election will be held. And so I encourage everybody to go out and do vote. The one comment I've heard from people downstairs is that with the remapping of the state legislature and the congressional seats and whatever, the names on the ballots in Batavia are not ones that people recognize, because there's new congressmen and new state senators and new state representatives, and those are folks that, I am not saying anything bad about any of them, but their lines have all been readjusted to take care of population shifts in the 2020 census, and so that has all caused some alterations. And then Illinois lost population, so we lost a congressional seat, which ended up being the seat of Congressman Kissinger down in central Illinois, because he made the announcement he was going to run again, so that was an easy one for him to kind of dissolve his seat and then remake the lines. And I think some of the impacts of that may even have reached into Batavia. So there's just a lot of moving parts to the whole election process this time around. So if you go in, you should probably educate yourself a little bit as to who the congressional candidates are and who the state reps and state senators are, because there are going to be some new names for most of you. If you live on the far northeast side of Batavia, there's 19 houses and the gas station at the corner of Fabian Parkway and Washington Avenue that's in the congressional district of Raja Karamowski. I never can pronounce his name. It's a very long name. But anyway, he's now our congressman for 19 houses in the gas station. He was kind enough to call me a few weeks ago, and I had a nice conversation. He wanted me to tell him a little bit about Batavia, and I did. So anyway, we now have the other congressman that's on the ballot on the Democratic side is Congressman Foster, who used to be our congressman. Well, now he's back again as the congressman on the Democratic ticket. So you'll have the chance in November to elect somebody, a Republican or a Democrat, to that particular post. So I wanted to cover that one. And the final thing I wanted to say is we're getting ready to have a lot of activities in downtown Batavia. Windmill City Days is coming up at the end of next week, and that's always a huge crowd gatherer. And we've got the fences up to kind of keep the liquor sales distribution within the area around the Peg Bond Center. And Batavia has, a number of restaurants in our downtown now, and it's been interesting to talk to some of my fellow mayors about things that are happening in their downtown. I just had the chance last night to have dinner with the mayor of Algonquin, and she's a friend of mine, and she was telling me about, Algonquin's got some restaurants now in their downtown. And I was recently talking to the mayor of Downers Grove, and he says he's got restaurants in his downtown, but he's also got quite a few up on Ogden Avenue and the area near the toll road and whatever. So he says that's a great reason why people come to Downers Grove, is to go to the restaurants, and people have special occasions and other things going on there. So it's an interesting story that, we in Batavia are one, I guess I'll call it one of the fortunate ones, because not every city has the restaurant volumes and the business as a result that we have in places like Batavia, Algonquin, or Downers Grove. We're just fortunate towns, and we seem to be one of them, so I'm very pleased by that. So finally, in my report today, I'm going to stop speaking, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Deputy Chief Eric Flowers, who has got some sharing to do with the community about crime we are experiencing at a very high rate on the computer. And technology seems to be the inroad where a lot of the criminal world is making attacks on Batavia. And this last few weeks, we've had some very upsetting stories, in my view, of Batavians who have been taken on the computer for literally thousands of dollars. And so we want to get the word out to everybody about what's going on there. So Chief Flowers, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor is correct. We do regularly have a lot of financial crimes, many of which affect the senior population in our community. And I just wanted to educate everyone watching on some of the most common financial crimes that we do see in the community, particularly ones, again, targeting the senior population. One of the most common ones that we do see is government or imposter scams. In these cases, we have individuals who may call a resident in the community and purport themselves to be a government official with the IRS or with some other branch of law enforcement, and advise that you may have a warrant for your arrest, or you may have committed some kind of criminal act, or you may be behind on your tax bill. When they do these, they then will encourage you to make payment to make these criminal charges or this tax bill go away. And they'll ask you to generally pay using gift cards or a wire transfer method. So that's one way that scammers will try to reach out and get a hold of your money. Another thing that we do see from time to time is what's called a grandparent scam. This is when an individual will reach out and purport themselves to be one of your grandchildren by saying, "Hey grandma, do you recognize me? Or do you know who this is?" And as soon as you respond with whoever sounds the most familiar to you, "Oh, is this Betsy? Yeah, this is Betsy," then they're in. And that's when they start telling you about some kind of financial or legal trouble that they're having and request money from you. Another way to know that this is a potential scam that you're being a victim of is they're going to ask you not to tell any of your other family members what's going on, or that they've been in communication with you, because they don't want anyone to alert them that this is a potential red flag or a fraudulent activity. Another very common and popular financial crime that we do see is the computer tech support scam. This will be where somebody may reach out to a resident in the community and inquire if they're having any issues or problems with the computers. Everyone has issues, their computers freeze or lock up, so almost always they're going to get somebody to agree with them that, yes, I am having some computer problems. That's when they have their in, and then they ask for remote access to your computer or desktop. Once they're into your computer with remote access, there's an unlimited number of possibilities that they can start accessing your financial accounts. If you have saved passwords on web browsers, they can log in using that information, and they can begin transferring money and things like that and get access to all of your financial accounts. Of course, we're all familiar with the phishing calls, texts, and emails. We continue to get reports of these types of phishing attempts where individuals are purporting themselves to be legitimate companies like Amazon or Apple iTunes and asking for your credit card information, your personal information, or different financial information so that they can inevitably get access to your financial funds. So some tips to avoid becoming a victim yourself. You always want to verify the source of any call, text, or email. If it's not something that you're expecting, you should certainly take steps to verify that this is a legitimate email or individual on the phone that you're speaking to. And the best way to do that is to Google or use the internet to find a verified phone number for the organization, be it the IRS, be it Best Buy or Apple, whatever it may be. Find a verified phone number for that organization and call them directly and see if there is some kind of problem with your account or something that you need to rectify or remedy. Be very, very wary of unsolicited emails, phone calls, and other types of communication. Generally speaking, these individuals are reaching out to you unsolicited, trying to get information from you. Most companies are not going to call and ask for your personal financial information or identification information. So don't provide that information over the phone, disconnect, and then if you're unsure, call police, call a trusted family member and say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing or this is who's reached out. Please call and verify. Don't just start providing your information. Another thing, a lot of these scammers are going to ask for payment in either wire transfer or gift cards. These are huge red flags. Do not go to the store and start purchasing gift cards or making wire transfers from your accounts. These are huge red flags. These are situations where they are just trying to get a money from you in a way that is very hard and difficult for law enforcement to trace. Once you provide the number on that back of the gift card, that individual has unlimited access to the funds on that gift card, and it will be very difficult for law enforcement to trace and follow up on. Anytime you do feel that you are a potential victim or that there's been an attempt, please call 911 and report it to law enforcement, and we can help you work through the situation. Anything to add, Mayor?
No, I just want to thank Deputy Chief Powers for coming in today and sharing all that information. As I say, I've been troubled by the number of seniors in this community who have recently been struck by this situation. It is a major issue in the life of Batavia right now, and I'm very pleased with the professionalism that the Batavia Police Department takes in handling these, and they are on top of it all, and we have an investigative team that looks into all this and tries to hopefully try to recover some of the lost money and other things. So we're out there fighting a good fight for Batavia, and we're trying to protect folks. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to have this entry into the program this morning was to let everybody know that this is a real thing that's happening in Batavia, and specifically you should be watching out for it if you're struck by some of these folks. So I'll adjourn this right now and tell you I'll be back next week. I guess that'll be July the 1st, and I'll have the latest breaking details of the 4th of July fireworks. I don't know what more we can tell you, but just plan to come on out. It's the largest assembly of Batavians anytime during the year, and hopefully we'll have some good weather and great fireworks. And I continue to want to thank the community for your support in helping us pay the entire bill for the fireworks. It's all done with donated money, so it's not property tax dollars up there in the sky turning into different colors. It's all donated money, and we're gonna, looks like we'll be able to do that again this year. So thanks to all those who have made a donation already, and to become on the 4th, and if you want to make a donation, there'll be some folks there to collect some money. So thanks again for your good efforts, and have a good week.